think what you notice is it just feels softer. Those you know that juddering you get if you're riding fast over rocks and things with a normal suspension, it really feels hard. With this suspension, it just feels that little bit softer, so it's absorbing those impacts better.
Right.
So I think it's really good.
John's bike is an engineering success.
Hello, he's done this before. He has done this before.
But the suspension system makes it look a bit odd. This is because its form follows function. It's designed to work well, not win beauty contests. A few years ago, cyclists may have dismissed this kind of thing as a gimmick and stuck to a style of cycle which was basically old-fashioned. After the penny farthing, cycle design soon boiled down to a classic style of tubes and triangles. The design was so simple and efficient that manufacturers and cyclists shied away from any radical innovation. Conservative attitudes are hard to change, so before the public would fork out for innovative designs like this, something radical had to happen to the image of the dear old cyclist. Suddenly, it's cool to cycle. Mountain biking has become part of the rad culture of snowboarding, surfing, clubbing and extreme sports. It's fashionable now. As cycling becomes more radical and trendy, the market has suddenly opened up fresh design ideas. Bikes are no longer just functional, they are becoming stylish and fashionable. The designer bike is coming of age. This is a bike that has been acquired by the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. This is Jens Martin Skibsted. He used to run an art gallery, now he makes bikes. This is Mark Newson. He's designed everything from bungalows in the Seychelles to watches in Switzerland. Together, they've created the Biomega.
Designers that are used to making bikes have a hard time getting new ideas because they've kind of they're filled with all the conventions, whereas Mark Newson was fresh.
Designing an airline company, doing a bunch of things for Nike in the US, a very big restaurant bar project in New York, watches, products for companies like Alessi in Italy. They asked me originally, I guess, because they'd seen what else I do and they liked it. And they thought that it could be appropriate for me to sort of apply my sort of visual language to a bicycle.
Mark is very different from John White. He is a pure product designer who can turn his hand to pretty well anything. As he becomes famous, more and more companies are queuing up to offer him projects. So, with all this going on, what drew him towards designing a bike?
I was kind of obsessed with bikes, actually, as a child. And I always thought that, you know, the possibility of designing a bike would be, you know, really a pretty challenging thing. So, you know, it was always one of those fantasy projects that was sort of in the back of my mind. So when I was approached to design a bike, I mean, I kind of was obviously really excited about it.
Companies like Alessi, who Mark Newson has designed for, have turned everyday utilitarian products into objects of desire. Why pay a few pounds for something when you can spend 10 times the amount for the lifestyle version? The Newson bike is a bit like that. Mark Newson's bike may ride okay, but that's not the point. The bike is designed for urban hipsters who are looking for something fresh. Like designer furniture or the latest watch, the bike is becoming a lifestyle product. People want to own this one because it has Mark Newson written all over it. But that doesn't mean it's not a good bike.
I've thought about designing bikes, long before I'd ever been asked to do one. So this idea was kind of, in the back of my head. And then when I discovered this technology, through my work in the automotive industry, I thought it'd be really cool to apply that technology to a bicycle.
The technology Mark discovered was a novel process to form the aluminium shell of the frame. Instead of using the traditional method of stamping out the shape with metal dies at the Superform factory, they used heat and air pressure. The mould is heated to over 400 degrees centigrade, and then air pressure forces the material over the mould. The mould is then cut to shape in a computer-aided manufacturing process, CAM for short. This machine has been programmed directly by a computer-operated design process. Yes, it's CAD again. The two aluminium shells are finally stuck together like a model plane. As with John White's bike, it's another monocoque single shell construction, strong and light. Two bikes, two very different designers. John White is driven by a desire to achieve technological perfection. His bike looks like this because it is designed to do the things it needs to do as well as possible. Its form follows function. Mark Newson is driven by a desire to create beautiful objects. His designs are perfectly functional, but they are also like works of art. With their own innovative approaches, both designers are liberated to let their imaginations flow free.